Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. I said, and I meant it, we get to 8 wins, we're getting to 800. You got nothing to sweat here. Look at this. Rate of fire, damage, spacebar items, speed, HP, everything but luck. And range have fallen into place here right off the bat. Give me Anarchist Cookbook. If you don't give me Anarchist Cookbook, you're a coward. You know, I don't make the rules. I also probably should not have used the stars card to save us one room. Doesn't even really save us a room, it just allows us to get spilled milk faster. If I wanted to get spilled milk as quickly as possible, I'm trying to find the right balance of a joke that would be like, who's most likely to spill a glass of milk without it being offensive as a result of some kind of, like, disease or something. It's just not a good look, okay? I didn't think about the punchline before I did the setup, and now it looks mean-spirited, and I apologize. We got 10 cents. 10 cents, 1 HP is like, let's look for 15 cents territory. An arcade is not that valuable for us early on. I'm really feeling, there was a blog post that came out today. Do you follow the blogosphere? It's the year 2005, so blogs are really starting to kick off. I'm not sure if you've noticed this. There's a blog post today that was like, measuring Northernlion's skill in the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, and AFTERBIRTH Plus as well. It was a detailed data science, Python-enabled study, analysis, I should say, of my performance in the Binding of Isaac, which items are most likely to help me succeed. Admittedly, and this is their words, not mine, small sample size. You can find that for yourself on the Northernlion subreddit, by the way. Demon Baby ended up being the item that gave me, it most contributed to victory in the relatively small sample size of maybe like a few hundred runs. Kind of amazing. Other items up there, a little bit boring. Magic Scab, you know, stuff along those lines. And then the items most likely to contribute to a loss were very fun. Stuff like Ipecac. Still, the part of that post, and I do thank you for making it, whomever you are. Hey. I would like to get one more penny, please. Well, this was not worth a bomb. We're not going to get one more penny. The part that interested me was there was a graph of my wins mapped to like a function of my skill over time. And it was like I peaked in 2016. I haven't even begun to freaking peak, okay? We're in a little bit of a trough right now, and I got to admit, let's put a bit of a chip on my shoulder. Now, they did say in the analysis and observations part of the report, hey, NL did do a new save file during this period. A bunch of booster packs came out, changed up the items. If I'm being honest with you, there was a brief period where the game, in my opinion, got a great deal harder because they kind of diluted the amount of stat upgrades in the game. And instead of having the opportunity to pick up, like, you know, tiers upgrades, they were like, hey, here's 0.1 damage. Isn't that fun? Hey, here's an item that makes your shots extremely terrible. Isn't that fun? We've kind of come out of that period now, and I'm thankful for it, but I still have a chip on my shoulder, so you know what? Let's get a 200 streak. See if I care. I'm going to show science. It's not all it's cracked up to be, you know? It's like the Insane Clown Posse said. I don't want to talk to a scientist. Y'all nice people are lying and getting me incensed. He says that. Don't question it. I'm not trying to get around the Google DeepMind language filter this time. But moving on. Anyway, thank you for that post. It was a sobering but also enlightening look at my play in Isaac. I'm always asking people for data analysis of Isaac. It's always nice when somebody qualified does it. I'm not trying to insult anybody else who may or may not have done it, but if I look at your Twitter profile and it says like data scientist at Google, I'm like, yeah. Do that linear regression. Do that regression and analyze the p-value all night. That's right, I took a statistics class once. Hey, speaking of the devil, there's Magic Scab. I will take this opportunity. Actually, we probably want to roll Nail full stop, don't we? Yeah, I like it. Can we get this spirit heart? We cannot get the spirit heart. It's a great room on which to use the nail, though, if we go to our shop and there's a battery charge for sale. Or if we just get one here, but there's no way that's gonna happen. Wow, what are the odds? You never want to look at a graph of your own performance in something and see that you're in a trough. A trough is it's not a good place to be. We're gonna try this. But you know, you gotta take a little bit more of a... Nihilist is not the word I'm looking for. You gotta take a little bit more of a lackadaisical approach, I think. In our life... What a terrible use of that card. In our lives, we're gonna have troughs. We're gonna have peaks and valleys. You know, I'm in a valley right now because I've been dealing with this illness for like 2 weeks, and I'm not trying to keep bringing it up, but it is like the #1 thing going on in my life right now. I'm almost over it. But simultaneously, like every day I go to bed and I feel like I'm going to wake up and be 100%. Today I woke up, I was like, I'm 100%. And then 10 minutes later I was like, nah, I'm like 98. I got like, one of my glands is still a little swollen and I got like a minor headache and still a little bit of phlegm action happening. But I know I'm going to get there one day, and I think that's what you got to do. You know, you got to accept that when you're in a peak... Sustain the peak as long as you can. Keep doing what you're doing. It's working for you. When you're in a valley, you know, work to get out of it. Recognize you're in a valley. Own that. Try to mix it up and get yourself out of it. Or just like, you know, cut yourself some slack, which is kind of the position I'm in right now. Sitting around sipping kombucha. Waiting for my white blood cells to finally do their darn job. Not a whole heck of a lot we can do about it, you know? Some things in life are outside of your control. Like getting seeds in Isaac that essentially guarantee your death and dismissal. I have to admit, it's a great run, but our range stat is starting to give me a little cause for concern. I'm so happy we got Guppy's head, because, pardon me, Hive Mind is like a beautiful choice to... A beautiful choice, to enable that item to be substantially better. I thought you were going to explode, but I guess you were leaving creep. But I wouldn't mind picking up... Even if it has to be Mom's Heals, obviously I'd love, like, a range upgrade that also has other stats. Oh, that was dicey. Associated with it, but if we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. This feels like a secret room to me. Kind of a whiff. Might want to be a little bit more cautious about that in the future, considering the fact that, you know, we basically missed out on like 4 spirit hearts on the last floor because we didn't have any bombs. Maybe cool it a little bit on the bomb action here. I think we got a pretty easy win coming our way, though. You never know. D-Infinity, it's always hiding around the corner with like spaghetti, waiting to pop out and, you know, mildly surprise and occasionally irritate you as well. And you know what? It's like, I really think that, you know what would be useful for adults? Here's a $1 million idea for you, okay? And I'll tell you what the inspiration for this is. My wife got a smartwatch, and I didn't understand it for a long time. I'm not an old school guy, for the most part. I understand tech. I was the last person on planet Earth to get a smartphone, because I just didn't get it. And then after I got one, I was like, I fully understand why everybody wants one of these. Kate was telling me she was out playing Pokemon Go. And you're gonna, by the way, resist the notion to make the cheap joke. So many people go, oh, so she's the person still playing it. I would love to be as cynical about it as you are. There are, like, maybe even tens of millions of people still playing that game on the regular. I see them around Vancouver. Kate goes out for a raid, and she's like, there were like 300 people at the spot that this raid was taking place. It's out of control. She said there was a dude that had a big plastic board, and on it he had 9 mounted cell phones to play Pokemon Go simultaneously. So he was like a one-man walking, like, raid pop by himself. That's too far. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. If you truly love Pokemon Go, if that's what really... Wow, I should not have stood there. If that's what gives you pleasure in life, so be it. But really, that's a lot of money. Even if they are old phones, you know. It just seems like it's a bit much. But anyway, I digress. That's too far for me. I don't understand that. One cell phone's enough. I already, like... You know, I use it to occasionally take photos, listen to podcasts while I'm falling asleep, and go on Twitter while I'm pooping. I apologize if that's too much information, but remember the REM song, you know? Everybody poops. Everyone replies. Anyway, I think, here's my $1 million startup idea. It integrates with wearable technology, and every 3 months it gives you an adult report card. You're gonna have to consent to some of your private information being taken place, or being, you know, harvested and sold to advertisers. Because, I mean, the $1 million has got to come from somewhere, right? But as a kid, you got report cards twice a semester or something like that, you know? And it's always a scary day. Or, if you're a nerd, the best day of the year. Depending on your perspective, right? But I feel like getting a report card is like a really nice thing to get in order to responsibly chart your progress through life. And not everything in life has to be progress-oriented, but, you know, when you get a report card and it's like, hey, you got like a 65 in this class right now, if you want to get an A, you really got to kick it into gear starting right now. It's like a nice wake-up call. We don't get that as adults very often. You might get an annual performance review. The closest I get is like a doctor's checkup once a year or once every 2 years. I go to the doctor and she's like, your blood pressure's still high. And I'm like, yeah, still a YouTuber, still reading those comments. And she's like, you know, please do better about that in the future. You know, that's the closest it gets. I would like to get a report card every now and then. Just so, you know, I think it's healthy to face your weaknesses from time to time. And be reminded of, you know, you can make a decision when you face a weakness. You can be like, am I going to continue being weak in this area, which is fine. Or am I going to make an effort to improve and use this as my starting point, which is also fine. As adults, we're kind of like, once you get out of college, you know, you're kind of free from that level of responsibility. Minus performance reviews of your job. Which we don't really have on YouTube. Well, sort of. I mean, like, you do get a performance review based on, like, your metrics, and then, like, comments and stuff like that, but, you know, sometimes views go up when your content gets worse, and sometimes comments get worse as your content gets better. I don't know. I'm just saying, the free market on YouTube is, it's a wild place. You can just lie in your title. There's nobody there to stop you except for, you know, a few people might click the dislike button. Clickbait's weird, man. I meant to talk about this before when I was talking about blogs, but it's interesting, like, the way that the internet has changed. When I used the internet in, I mean, I was around for, like, the infancy of the popular internet. I got my first computer in, like, 1994, 1995. I went to... Okay. I did not get hit. Can you stop this? Can you please stop this? Wow. On summer vacation one year, my mom sent me to something called Cyber Sports Camp. What it was... you know, it was like 8 hours a day. 4 hours of it was playing sports. 4 hours of it was like, here's how you use a computer. Here's what Netscape Navigator is. This is a game called Oregon Trail. It was a lot of fun. Although, apparently, I went to this cyber sports camp. I was like 7 or 8 years old. One day when I came home, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, what's sex? Some of the other people at cyber sports camp are talking about this SEX stuff, and I don't know what it is. I'm worried I'm not a cool guy. Well, worry no longer. I still don't know what it is. Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me? Can't hit that Freddie Mercury note. Ooh. Black Lotus. Ba-ba-da. We got a lot of work left to do on this floor. But anyway, the infancy of the internet, here's what you did. There were search engines. Everybody had their favorite. It was like a pre-Google era. You'd be like, I like Lycos. Why? I don't know. I like Dogpile because the name's funny. I like Yahoo because you can play checkers on their website. Apart from that, if you didn't go to a search engine, you just went to a brand that you like.com. You got Coca-Cola.com. Occasionally, this led to you seeing some stuff that, you know, as a child, you probably shouldn't be seeing. But you also, there's like a certain level of innocence there because you don't really know what you're looking at to begin with. And then, I feel like, you know, between 2000 and, let's say 2000, in the year 2008, it was like blogs. You'd be like, I go to Gizmodo, I go to IO9, I go to Jalopnik or whatever. I go to Jezebel. I know all these sites. I go to The Superficial, I go to Perez Hilton. It was like the blogosphere. Web 2.0. We're in like Web 3.0 now, where I don't go I go to one website on the internet, it's twitter.com. And then things get retweeted into my feed that are like 15-second videos. And I either laugh at them or I get angry at them. I don't know what the next stage of the internet is like you log on to the internet and it's just like a dopamine hit that, you know, corresponds with like a micro pump in your brain, and it's just like neurotransmitter, neurotransmitter, neurotransmitter. Like, I don't know where we go from here. It's exciting, but also terrifying. Maybe we go backwards. Maybe we become like basic cable because of the erosion of net neutrality and all that. Don't want to be a bummer or anything. Well, it's not true. I go to Twitch as well. I used to actually like read things on the internet. Now the internet basically, for me, exists to provide background noise that I don't really pay attention to, and this is getting too real for my own content here as well. But it just provides the illusion to my like lizard brain that somebody else is in the room talking, and for some reason that's comforting and allows me to focus more on whatever the task at hand is. Very strange. Yo, guppy me up. That is not guppy. That's a trash. Remove this item from the game. I don't want to see it anymore. That and insulting my friends on Twitter. That's pretty much what it comes down to. We know our HP is relatively good. What we lack in an enormous fashion is still range. When your tier stat and your range stat are comparable, you know you're in a troubled spot. No greed. Thank you. You know what? There's time for... There's options. More options would be pretty bad right now, but there's options could still work. 2 of hearts. I'll give it a try. Okay, I will smelt a trinket. No promises. I don't really want red candle. I'm gonna give this one a shot. It's 2 of hearts again. I'm just gonna pop it because I'm angry, and let's move along. I will say, internet has changed a lot in like a positive way. I do think there's a real problem with Twitter. Dude, there was like there's something very interesting to talk about. Did you see the thread on Twitter? It went viral. You probably didn't because I spend more time on this website than most people. But these people were flying and they wanted to trade seats because they weren't able to sit together and they were husband and wife. Totally fair. And I mean, we can get into a conversation like, is it okay to switch seats on an airplane? Yeah, I think so. The only thing is, if you ask a person if they want to switch and they say no, you got to respect that because they might have paid more for the right to book their seat. You know, you are kind of coercing them in a way. I've never said no. I've very rarely been asked. I have asked a couple times, but you know, it's a law of the jungle. Anyway, so this husband and wife, they sat together, and that led to 2 strangers sitting together, and they were both like fitness buffs, and they were young and single and attractive, and they started to like hit it off, and the people that had asked for the seat change to begin with sort of live tweeted the interaction that these people were having, and they were like, oh my god, they're showing pictures of their families, and they're starting to bond. Look at, their arms are touching on the armrest. And originally, it was like this cute kind of thing. Although it was super weird as well. I was kind of like, why are you guys being... I kibitz in daily life. That's what I do. I eavesdrop. I judge. But I don't live tweet it because then you would think that I'm a terrible person for the most part. But I was like, mostly it's kind of sweet and funny, even though it's like a little bit too much of like a real life version of The Bachelor that I don't care for. Anyway, they hit it off. So many active items, unfortunately. After they landed, I'm not going to say it became like international news, but it was like national news. People were like, meet the couple that, you know, hit it off on an airplane. But the thing is, the dude was all about it. He's a former, like, professional soccer player in the MLS or something like that. And, like, the people that made the thread on Twitter went on Good Morning America or something like that. And they were like, this is really cool. But the lady who was involved hated being in the public eye and was like, I want this all to go away. It's such a weird era where you have to be cognizant of the fact that everywhere you go in public life, whether you ask for it or consent to it or not, you're essentially being filmed. Like, you're on camera at all times. I'm not talking about security cameras. I'm talking about, you know, being in the background of selfies. You never know who's paying attention to you, and then, you know, live tweeting it to their 17 followers or something like that. Or, you know, another good example was that, I think it was like a Playboy Playmate took a picture of somebody's butt in the gym and was like, look at this fat butt, lol. And then she got rightfully kind of roasted for it. People were like, why are you taking a picture of somebody else's butt, putting it on Twitter and making fun of them? Like, that's extremely uncool. We're in a real weird time when it comes to privacy, man. I was interested. Because, like, I didn't think that the couple did anything wrong. But it's just amazing how quickly, like, things can get out of control. Depending on whether you're into it or not. I'll give you another example. This one's from my real life. You know, I was not professional, but like I was a competitive chess player because I was a super cool like prom king sort of guy in middle school, and I qualified for the provincial championships for my province. And you know, I live in a small town, so there's like a local, you know, community-focused newspaper that was like, hey, we're gonna come to the school and interview you. Could you get like 4 or 5 other people from the chess club that could come down and give quotes about, you know, what playing chess means to them, what their strategy is, etc., etc. So I was like, yeah, that's really cool. And I asked like 4 of my friends, and they were all like, yeah, let's do it. We'll get to be in the paper. Isn't that funny? Then I asked one more of my friends, and he was like, I'd like to, but I can't be in the newspaper because, like, my parents won't let me be. And at the time, I was like, that's really strange. As I've gotten older, I've been like, dude, that makes perfect sense. I don't know, maybe his dad was in the Canadian CIA or something like that. But that's why you gotta ask, you know, not everybody wants that degree of public interest or fame. I've said it many times, you know, like, I'm comfortable with my position in life. I've been doing it a long time. I got gray hairs in my facial hair. I roughly understand how to interface with an online community, but there's days where it's real annoying. There's days where people cross the line and you have to be like, why are you being weird about it? And they're like, why are you being insulting to your fans? And I'm like, because you crossed the line. People, they say things that they think are like joking. They don't realize that unless you're actually like in-person friends, or you have like, ooh, that was very scary. You know, you have like a rapport with someone, you can't say those things and get away with it. You know, the fact that you're through some computer screens makes it so that it's not actually a joke, it's just insulting. It's like when I was playing God of War, I don't solve a puzzle immediately. People are like, what's wrong with his brain? You think as a 30-year-old adult you want to be insulted all the time by strangers on the internet? Absolutely not. But I understand I don't want to fight you because you might be greed. We'll go into that room in just a second. Oh my god, dude, these rooms have been killing me. I wanted to see because it could be kamikaze, but I thought maybe we could get some hearts off the fires here as well. Kind of desperate when you start to think about that as a means of moving forward. I'm gonna try this. Let's see what we get. Oh, Bone Heart could be real useful. This is a very scary situation. Just keep buying these. All I'm getting at is not everybody's in for that level of fame. It's the best part of the job and the worst part of the job. I've said it many times. When I'm out of the YouTube sphere, I'm gone. That's my intention, at least. Depending on, how graceful the exit would be. And again, don't worry about it happening, like, within the next 3 or 4 years or something like that. Or even maybe within the next 10, The thing is, I keep being paid way more than I'm worth. So it's very hard for me to leave this job for many reasons. I love the duties, I love making my own hours, sleeping in, most of the comments are positive, and again, like, it's an example of the free market being highly wrong, because, I am not worth as much as I'm making, which is beautiful, it's a lovely situation to be in. I'm not being braggadocious, though, I'm being deferential. But once I'm out, I'm gonna get a job writing, like, C code in the basement of an old bank. You will never hear from me. I'll make a post, and the post will be like, so long and thanks for all the fish, just so you know I got real nerd cred, and then I will disappear. And you may see me at a swap meet or a farmer's market 3 or 4 years later, and you'll say, are you Northernlion? And I'll say, that's the name I've not heard for a long time. And then you'd be like, well, you're wearing a shirt with your face on it, so I had to, and I'd be like, yeah, I miss it. Don't it always seem to go, You don't know what you got till it's gone. Speaking of which, this run is in a dire position right now. It turns out 6 range is actually, like, pretty terrible. I do want to point out, by the way, I didn't have any control over that. We started with bad range. I don't think I've had any opportunity to, like, reroll a range upgrade that I took, so I don't feel like I've made a colossal mistake. All I'm getting at is the internet's a wild place right now. You can be a celebrity accidentally. In some ways, is great because, if you got a real talent, you can be discovered in a way that previously you couldn't be. But there's also some danger associated with it, Like, I really feel like as an adult, you should know better, okay? But there are, like, situations where I do feel bad for terrible people. And I know this is, you're gonna be like, why do you have sympathy for them? There was that case, and it's like 4 years old now. And it wasn't even like a legal thing. But this lady, I believe she was British. She was on a plane to South Africa. And before she got on the plane, she tweeted something vile. Something absolutely reprehensible. I don't even want to repeat it, because now I've been remembering what it is in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, am I actually going to go to bat for this woman? Let me put it this way. She said, I'm on a plane to Africa. I hope I don't get a certain sexually transmitted disease that, ravaged the earth in the 1980s in particular. And then she said, just kidding, I'm white. It's like just the worst possible thing you could tweet. That tweet makes her a pretty reprehensible person, okay? And she did tweet it out into the public. So I'm not defending that. I want to draw a distinction here. What I am also gonna say, though, is that... Oh my god, we're gonna die. That's our bone heart. Which means we must be on, like, 0 red hearts. Oh my god. If she had had that thought... There's a tinted rock. Oh my god. If she had had that thought in 1981 and said it to her seatmate would have been like, what did you just say? You're a terrible person. And then she would have had a moment of self-reflection where she could go and think about what she said and be like, do I really want to be this person in the future? Now, I read like an interview with her 3 or 4 years after it happened. I think it was in Vanity Fair. And she was like, I still can't talk about it because I have PTSD about it. Because there was like, she was on like a 12-hour flight. And then by the time she landed, she opened Twitter. She has like 40 followers. And now she sees that she's got 100,000 retweets that are basically telling her to kill herself. And again, there's a huge element here of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Don't tweet out ignorant garbage if you're not, capable of handling the backlash. At the same time, until, human society was connected on this level of, always knowing what absolutely everybody has said at any given moment. You could be a little bit of an idiot, be reprimanded on an individual level, and then, you know, without being in the public eye, have the opportunity to, like, grow as a human being. You don't really oh, I was gonna say, one of you turned invisible, and then ran at me. Where's the other one? Must be dead. You don't necessarily always have that opportunity anymore. And there's good and there's bad. Like, obviously what this lady tweeted was horrible, and she, you know, deserves some kind of repercussion for it, considering she said it publicly, especially, but... This is a range upgrade, isn't it? It's luck and range, but this is... I think we kind of need the spirit hearts, as much as I hate to say it. But is this... There's multiple spirit hearts, right? Not just one spirit heart? Man, I kind of wanted the range. I wanted both. HP is way better than I thought it was, by the way. Anyway, again, I want to make it clear, I'm not defending her. Somebody said that on the NLSS, I would kick him off, unless it was me, in which case I would say I'm playing a character and rely on that defense, but it's different now, man. Thought the same thing, like, here's another anecdote for you. You know the Netflix show, formerly on Sony's Crackle service, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee? Somebody made a post that was like a Netflix-style header, and it said, waitresses and diners tolerating comedians. And it was really funny. I thought it was hilarious. Even though I like Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and I don't dislike Jerry Seinfeld as much as a lot of people seem to in today's day and age, I was like, I retweeted it, because I thought it was funny. The picture had Jerry Seinfeld and Ricky Gervais laughing, while a dismissive waitress sort of looked on in the middle distance. Someone replied to that tweet, and said... Just curious, why do people dislike Jerry Seinfeld? Now I understand why people don't like Ricky Gervais, but why do people dislike Jerry Seinfeld? Somebody that follows neither me nor the person that replied to me jumped in and said, yeah, I see why people hate Ricky Gervais, what with his heartwarming series Derek on Netflix, as well as his animal rights protection. What a terrible guy. What's amazing is that the dudes... And I'm just assuming it's a dude. Other dudes, don't be mad about that. You know what cloths were cut out of, okay? I'm this kind of person sometimes, I'll admit. His Twitter bio was like, trying harder not to sweat the small stuff. And I'm like, well, you can start by not searching the name of your favorite comedian on Twitter for things to be mad about that were completely outside of the sphere of your cognizance, but sure, whatever. It's the same thing, like, you can't just say... anything anymore. Anything you say publicly is like an opportunity for somebody in a bad state of mind to be mad at you. And this is very much not like oh, people these days just try to be offended. It's more just like, you know, if you expose your thoughts to 118,000 people on a daily basis, the odds of you encountering one person who's like, hey, this is not cool, are very, very high. Twitter basically sucks, but I'm like psychologically dependent on it for whatever reason. It's also entertaining. Like, my own mentions are really good. And I mean that sincerely. I don't catch a lot of heat on Twitter. Mostly because I think I've muted anybody that has ever said, like, destructive criticism to me. And that's my prerogative, by the way. I have the right... is my social media account. If you're like, hey, jerk, I think you're a jerk, I'm gonna mute you. And the reason is, because I don't really care about your personal growth. I'm a man who's living my own life as well. If you come back to me a year later and you're like, hey, I said some negative things to you and I've grown, I'll be like, sure, I'll unmute you. But I don't really care to be there for the whole journey of that, the whole process, you know? You live your life, I'll live mine. Dude, are we totally screwed here? I'm trying not to be totally screwed, but I really, I can't believe this run has fallen apart. And I don't think, I mean, we did choose not to roll with the range upgrade, and that decision may haunt us forever, but I don't really think, like, too much of this is on me. Of course, there's always a way that, oh no. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Like, there should always be a way for you to get yourself out of a bucket of syrup. Yep, this is a problem. Okay. Well, it's a little frightening. Pardon me. What about a red chest? D1. Nope. What about an arcade that works for us here? Do you think there's a chance there? Yes, perhaps. We do have a lot of luck. Take me to 2.5 red hearts. Oh, that's so much better. Yes. I will play the other one. It's just far away right now. I'm begging you. Any minute now. Hey, it shouldn't have taken a half red heart. That is a dangerous play. Now, technically, probably should not have taken the eternal heart until we finish the floor. Yet here we are. A golden heart. That just goes around an existing heart. 2 bombs. I don't know, man. I don't think that this has been a market improvement, to be honest. I'm gonna do my darndest. Do what I can in here. That was extremely poor. That was a bad idea. I'm just gonna level with you on a biological level. I have a desire to urinate that knows no bounds right now. Tends to be a relatively poor thing to have going on when you also need to play a little bit more conservatively. I hate it! Now that made me very upset because I thought we were invincible. Hold on. Can we go to this cursed room and have full HP? No. You should tackle the fight like this. This is the right way to do it. Okie dokie. Mind over matter. It's just a bladder, dude. It's just your bladder. Come on. Nothing to worry about. You ever hold in your pee so much you start to get a little sweaty? Like you're actually physically exerting yourself? That's where I'm at right now. I'm at the physical exertion level of holding these nitrogenous wastes inside of me. Okay. Now, you're gonna have to play... Dude, just like a single orbital would render so much of this run easier for us to handle right now. This is the danger zone. Thankfully, he's not doing the shot that tracks me while this is happening. By the way, I do owe like a debt of extreme gratitude already to Guppy's Collar, which has brought me back from the dead twice when it did not have to. So let's say thank you to that for even giving us a chance to succeed. Now it's a timed game. You know, if we can do as much damage as possible before taking the hit that triggers your invincibility. No brim boys, please. We made it. Okay. Surprise, surprise, we did not get our deal with the devil chance. With 11%. Good lord. We will probably lose. We can't do anything about that. Wow. We'll still probably lose, but this is actually like an extremely great situation. On a room I don't think I've ever seen before. I'm just gonna pick it up right away. We'll also try a bomb here. We'll try a bomb here. Try a bomb here. Take the bomb way home. Any chance you could hook me up? Yeah. With a full health pill. Okay, at least we know it exists. More rooms exactly like this, please. 6 range does not give us a lot of power. This is helpful. You know, I like to say, if we can make it to the chest, anything can happen. Like, my bladder might explode. I'll die like Tycho Brahe. Or alternatively, might just pee myself. We'll see. I know you're gonna say, go to the bathroom. Yeah, but like something in my brain is like, you can't go to the bathroom, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll leave you with the overlay. Alright, I've returned. I turned cheat engine on to give me a guppy transformation here. There you go. You're gonna say, did you wash your hands? Yes, I washed my hands for 2 reasons. One of which is that I'm sick, and it's always the right thing to do even if you're not. And the other one, because I know some of you weirdos were listening. It's the price of fame. Can't get away with anything. Dude, I am begging you. Like, you might think that this is, like, poor planning. I might be late for my own Sunday stream as a result of this run. In my defense, I have 12 minutes. The average Isaac run doesn't sniff at 49 minutes of in-game time. That's like an hour and 4-minute long run. But our range is so horrendous. Since when is it even plausible to go like, okay, I can't say we went an entire run without a range upgrade. But who knows, we probably would have had a greater chance to die if we hadn't taken the PJs. That's my personal perspective, at least. Sure, here, just kill me with the bombs. I can't escape them anyway, because I've also only got 1 speed. No! Oh. Okay, okay. Get me out. This is a good room. For us. Wow. Most of the time, it's kind of a terrible room. For us right now, it's a great room. Also, every golden chest is a golden gift. Thank you so much. The bombs in particular. Probably want to use those a little bit more frequently. 2.5 red hearts. Can't even kill him in 1 burst. That's the thing, is like our range is bad. It's not like our damage and rate of fire are that amazing. Not abysmal, but like they leave a lot to be desired. Everything is like a 5. Our luck stat is a 5. That's like 10 orders of magnitude higher than normal. Our tiers are a 5. That's probably like about average. Our damage is a 5. Pretty much below average for our current point of the game. Speed is not a 5. Amazing. And, you know, in case it wasn't abundantly clear, Isaac's gonna be a freaking nightmare. Red hearts? Please. I hate it. I'm begging for the slightest bit of mercy. Demon Baby is our #1 item for correlating with victories. Please save me. No. This is hell. I didn't even say HE double hockey sticks. Google DeepMind, take me away. No! You're witnessing the slow death of, like, a man's desire to succeed. Is man against run, man against nature, illness, man against himself. Man versus Wild, that show where they had Carol Kobayashi try to eat more hot dogs than a Kodiak grizzly bear. I'm ready. I'm ready to take me. Just send me. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me. Country roads. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Also, a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. This run is garbage. And I'll see you next time.